Here we are once again. So of course, it must mean it's Wednesday at noon Eastern time. Of course, if you're watching live, if you're watching later or listening later, it could be any time, any place, any day. But now, right now, it is Wednesday at noon Eastern time, which means it's time for the High Noon Hemp Show live or video on demand on Facebook at the Temptations Beach Facebook page. Also on YouTube, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, or on Twitter at Temptations. If you want the audio version, you want to see us in all our glory, you just want to hear us in all of our glory, you can do that as well. Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, just search the High Noon Hemp Show. I am Stoner Jesus. You can search me on the interwebs if you feel like it. He is Beach, high above the Temptations in Sharonville at the Hemp Quarters. Beach, how are things this week in the world of Temptations?
They are good. Welcome, all you cool cats and hep kittens and cool kittens and hep cats and all that good stuff. I don't know why that came to me right before the show, but I thought I had to say that. Welcome to the High Noon Hemp Show. It's true. It's Wednesday. It's high noon. It's time to talk hemp. Here we are. That is true. It is also true. More truce. I am high above the Sharonville location in the Planet Everywhere Production Studios, Cincinnati, Ohio. Welcoming you. No one pays me to say all that, but it is good to get it out there, let everybody know what's going on. And the most recently thing that I have added to the show, we're 170 or so episodes into this show, and the most recent thing that I've added is our starting disclaimer, which reads as FDA. The FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. More on the FDA again later. Of course there is. We got a lot going on. Actually, I got quite a bit. Not sure what happened over the last week, but a lot in the hemp world. So when I get to the news, you're really gonna hang out for a little bit of some other stuff, because it's going to be some very interesting things going on in the hemp world this week. There's no doubt about that. Let's jump right into the product spotlight. As I say, 4 from the store, 1 from my door, on the High Noon Hemp Show product spotlight. The first one, some good old-fashioned wraps. These are the endo wraps, and they many different variations. You got just wraps, and then you've got the wood tip wraps. What I really like about this is that it's organic hemp being used to make these wraps. And so I truly feel like, because you're lighting these and you're putting your CBD flower or your Delta 8 flower or whatever legal flower that you're using in your hemp wraps, wherever you may or may not be. I think that using hemp was a great way to get rid of the tobacco and the nicotine in a hemp wrap or in a wrap. And now to have organic hemp options is even more brilliant, because again, the last thing you want to do is be smoking a bunch of chemicals one way or another. And so wrap it up with some organic hemp wraps of different flavors. You even get, again, like I said, you get your wood tip option there if you like your tips. And go from there. And if you just don't want to take the time to have to wrap anything up, then you just want to buy a pack of Versa. Versa Hempettes, which are CBG, actually. So CBG, I think we're finding, has a lot of the same benefits as CBD. I don't think I think it still works as calming, but maybe not as calming. Maybe you want something more to use during the day, just to see how it may or may not help you. As far as, and I do think, and again, they always call these, like, there's one company that actually calls their hempettes, I think, Weed Light or something like that. And there's one that calls it Dad Weed. I think that if you are a tobacco smoker and you really want to quit, but it's tough. I quit cold turkey. I probably my cannabis intake probably went up, but I didn't have cannabis that didn't get me high, so to speak, like we have now with the CBG hempettes. We also have CBD hempettes. Either way, And again, there's some different flavor breakdowns with the Versa CBG. CBG. Look into CBG. See if it's something that can help. Um, the next one is, man, I'm losing track of where I'm at here. Stuff's flying around everywhere it wants to. Oh, the raw pipe cleaners. Yes, hemp raw. From the very beginning, because their papers were always hemp. They have always done, and they make hemp composite stuff as well. But using hemp, I don't know what pipe cleaners. I guess it's cotton. I would guess actually that's in a normal pipe cleaner, and so substituting that cotton for hemp, once again, less cotton, more hemp. That's the world we want. So using pipe cleaners is a great way to keep your pipes clean. One way or another. And the last one, speaking of hemp composites, I haven't been able to get the raw hemp composite grinders recently. I don't know what's going on with them, but we do have a couple other hemp composite grinders that you can choose from in the stores. I think there's a 2-piece and then also a 4-piece or a 3-piece possibly in those stacks somewhere. And again, someday when you're done with it, or you broke all the whatnots off of it. I don't know if that's I suppose that's possible. You just chuck it in the yard, bury it in the grass. 100% compostable. I should say biodegradable. Maybe not compostable, but biodegradable. And that's a timeline thing. For something to be compostable, it needs to break down in a certain amount of time, which is much quicker than something that's biodegradable, which means it does eventually break down and whatnot. And so, hello, Philip. Thanks for watching the High Noon Hemp Show. And so, yeah, there you go. 4 from the store. Now the one from my door, and I've always forgotten about this. And this is another thing that sits right beside me. This is something I use almost every day for the most part, but this is my good old hemp money pouch. This was made here at Planet Everywhere. We, shuffle money around, funds here to bank and whatever. We take in cash, very little cash these days, I will have to say. But once again, instead of using the bank money pouches, we just made our own. And so, and I know that some of the stores, have these because sometimes they have checks in the stores to write orders and whatnot and stuff. And so that's kind of fun. It's got a zipper on the top, just like a traditional bank money pouch, and works just as well. So there you have it, folks. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. Sometimes more, but not today. Not today.
Which, of course, brings us to the as of yet award-winning segment, internet segment, greatest internet segment. Why we don't have a bunch of awards like lined up there behind Beach, I don't know. Maybe it's our fault. Maybe it's you people watching. Maybe you're just not passionate enough. Maybe you're not finding these non-existent awards or creating these non-existent awards to give us, and that's fine. I'm not bitter or anything. I just move on with my life and my job and the entertainment and the information we bring. We don't need awards to do it, but 1 or 2 would be nice. I'm just saying. It is, of course, the beachwear segment. We're Beach today, channeling a little bit of the hemp superhero look. I think if there was a hemp superhero, he would be dressed similar to the way Beach is today. I asked Beach a very important question, and in his superhero pose, he gives me a very important answer. When I ask, "What are you wearing, Beach?"
That's true, kids and kids out there. If you're looking for a hemp superhero and you'd like to dress like one, this is as good an outfit as any. Up on my lid there, I do have a traditional, very old, classic fair hemp hat that was in fact embroidered here at the Planet Everywhere manufacturing studio, or I guess I don't know, the place when we were doing that more. We don't do that as much. My shirt again, super. I think I just found this shirt. This is one of these. I keep finding all this clothes as I'm moving stuff around and doing stuff and trying to get stuff straight. This was probably one of my favorite shirts 15, 20 years ago. And I probably did go out and stand with my hands on my chest and be like, read my shirt, read my shirt now. Um, this was St. Croix hemp, which I don't know if St. Croix hemp exists anymore. The EcoSport was actually the maker of the T-shirt, and EcoSport was using hemp and organic cotton. One of the really, I mean, when I can get hemp and organic cotton mixed, that's perfect. We see a lot of hemp mixed with cotton, keeps the cost down, helps give it a weave. People kind of like a little better, maybe. I don't know, but hemp and organic cotton that's the perfect combination for the planet, anyway. Be 100% hemp if we could. My I shorts purchased at hempist.com. And then you can see that I've been talking about the difference between a 3D printed Green Springs technology pen and a composite or a injection molded pen. Today I'm wearing my 3D printed. Again, it's a much lighter color than the composite molded pen that I usually carry. And the reason I usually carry the composite molded one is because it's inscribed. It says annotations on it, where they can't do that with the 3D pen because I feel like it just kind of chips away. It doesn't do what it's supposed to. Underneath it all, Hempist is getting the call today because there's some Hempist briefs, and I believe that I originally purchased those socks at Hempist. There's thehempist.com, which I believe is soap makers, or hempist.com. But there's one of the two, but it's HEMPEST. And the retail site where I bought most of my clothing, they have great selection of hemp clothing. I haven't checked them out recently to see what's new, but multiple companies with really cool options, both ladies and men's. So I'll pimp them a little bit because it seems to be most of this outfit came from their website now that I look back on it. The newer stuff, the stuff that's maybe only 10 years old or newer. Then they're bringing it together on the old feet. There are a good old pair of Wicked boots. I haven't checked recently, but we are waiting, or I don't know if we're still waiting or they have been released, but we were waiting for a whole new line of Wicked hemp boots. So I'll check into that and see if I can get you some more information for next week's show. There you have it, folks. If you woke up today and you're just wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know it's mostly green and a little superhero-ish. It's true. All right, man, let's get on to this news. I feel like this is gonna be a while because there's a lot going on to report these days on the hemp front. First and foremost, this is huge news because the whole world, as far as I know, has been clamoring for hemp toilet paper. Okay. And this is probably the biggest news that we're going to find. So Bass Fiber Tech, and I knew about Bass Fiber Tech because I have seen their baby wipes. So they currently make baby wipes, cleaning wipes, and facial cloths, all using hemp on the market. You can probably Google it right now and find them for purchase. But they are working now, and they've been working with, apparently for the last 2 years to get this right, Georgia Pacific. Okay, Georgia Pacific, if you don't know, one of the monopolies or oligopolies that probably control most of the toiletry paper in the world. Okay, they make, Quilted Northern and another big toilet paper brand. They are brawny when it comes to paper towels, Vanity Fair napkins, and Dixie cups. Again, I mean, I feel like they're the controlling factor in picnicking and household paper goods. One of them, anyway. Um, so what's going to happen is Bass Fiber Tech has developed all of these um, paper or products using their bast fiber, including hemp technology, and they're going to make a line that will be tree free for Georgia Pacific. So we're finally going to get some tree free, and there's already tree free toilet paper because I've used it, recycled toilet paper. Um, there is earth friendly options for toilet paper already. Now, they seem to be a little bit more expensive, obviously, than just the regular stuff, but one way or another, you can still opt for an earth friendly option right now. Hemp toilet paper, man, what a great thing. And everybody's been clamoring, and there's rumors that it was out there. If you go to Alibaba and you Google hemp toilet paper, it comes up as a product that you can buy, but you have to look carefully because it's a description of color, not a description of fiber. Um, soon, I feel soon, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this. I can't wait to see the release that Georgia Pacific puts out for their hemp line of paper products. Because again, if we could stop cutting down trees for paper today, hemp is the way to do it. And here's the start, or what, I shouldn't say start, because these products all, except for toilet paper or paper towels, but they're not on the market made out of hemp yet. And so coming soon, yay! But you can go get yourself some baby wipes or some cleaning wipes or maybe some facial cloths made out of hemp. Check out Bass Fiber's current stock as it is and support them for everything that you can. No doubt about it. Here is cool. I know, I showed the picture of the hemp wood last week and the how the product is lathed. And then this week it was interesting. I found this picture of basically the hemp wood process. So this was actually hemp wood, I believe, posted this to Facebook just this last week, which I thought was very interesting. So you take your hemp, you take it to your factory, you add glue, you dry, you press, you bake, you make into the block that I was talking about. And then you can saw it any way you want from that block. So I suppose that's how they make the flooring. They can sell it to you in the block, so you can lathe your items out of it if you want to, or whatnot. But then you get your hemp wood. Bam! Guess what weren't killed in the process of making any of this hemp wood? A tree. Not one single tree. Maybe where the factory was built. I don't know if they had to cut down any trees to make the factory. I kind of feel like I doubt it, but I don't know. The factory is new and decently new. Been around actually. They've been open and running now for a couple years at least down in Murray, Kentucky, and so that's their process of making their hemp wood. And again, I know you can buy it in planks, you can buy it in flooring, and then you can buy it in the block if you wanted to lay the product out of it. One way or another. And so that's what, again, less trees, more hemp. Let's keep rolling here. This is just, sometimes I just have to laugh at the ignorance of things. But okay, so a study found, and this was done in Kentucky too, which I think is interesting. A study found that THC was in 60% of the CBD products tested. Now they tested, they just randomly bought 80 CBD products from around the state. Okay, and they also tested Epidiolex, which is the FDA approved medicine for seizures for kids, CBD based. Okay, Epidiolex tested positive in a sense, but it was 0.02%. 0.02%. Now we have an allowable 0.3%, which is the joke of this article, because somewhere in the okay, two things happen in this article. One is they eventually say 5 of the THC free 5 of the THC-free products tested positive for THC. Okay, and the same article that they wrote that. Okay, in the same article that they wrote that, they didn't. They also said we don't know why all these products have THC in them, and there's a simple answer. Okay, unless it's THC free, there's a certain amount of THC in CBD products. It's an allowable amount. Okay, it's what we in the business call full spectrum. Okay, THC free should be the isolate, which means they just extract CBD with a machine, and then that's all they put back in the product. That would be THC free. That would be an isolate. We have those products. But if you have a full spectrum CBD product, and the amount of ignorance, because this is like a big issue. This is why the Navy and the military, all military, any police, all these places say you can't use CBD products because there's a legal amount of allowable THC. So there's the reason why all of these CBD products tested positive, other than the five THC free products that tested positive for THC. There's supposed to be THC in those other products. Again, I can't. It just baffles the mind. In all honesty, that it just kills me that they knew there were THC free products. So if it wasn't a THC free product, what do you think it was? What kind of study research was this? I mean, all they really, and again, it's a great research, but the amount of ignorance to actually answer the question, why was there THC in all these CBD products, is like a huge part of why the whole article should have been written to begin with. Okay, full spectrum, folks. Just so you know, you go out and you're buying a CBD product. If it says full spectrum or it's full spectrum, feel free to ask. Then it's going to have a very small amount, but it's still going to have THC. Okay, if it's an isolate, then it should just be CBD, or it just should be this, or it should just be whatever that isolate is. Nothing else. Okay. If it's what we call broad spectrum, which you don't see a lot, but sometimes, what that means is they're taking the THC out, or they have CBD and then they're adding terpenes or other cannabinoids, but there's no THC in broad spectrum, but it's not an isolate either. So it's not just CBD. It's usually terpenes and all the other things, but the THC has been removed, which is really the optimal one for anyone that wants 0.0% THC. The broad spectrum is a better way to go because you're still getting all those other cannabinoids and whatnot that are included. And, they talk about the entourage effect and how you want all of those together to make everything actually work better. I don't know if we're really finding that true because we have just as many customers that absolutely love our isolate products just as much as they like our full spectrum, and they're getting the benefits from that. But oh, boy. Sad news for North Carolina, I think. I don't think July 1st is going to be a very happy day for North Carolina because they literally have to vote and pass a bill today or tomorrow to keep hemp in any variations legal as of July 1st. And again, I don't know. I don't know if this is. I mean, I haven't talked to any of my friends in North Carolina, the hemp people down there at this point, and I really feel like I might have to make some contact because I really want to know if there's like a mad dash. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to all these stores? What's going to happen to all these farmers? What's going to happen to all these people that have invested in hemp? They have it on the shelves. They've got it in the ground. That. It's just crazy to think. It's crazy to think that those people, all of those people, will be criminals on July 1st, according to the state of North Carolina. And the fact that they didn't do something, and I don't know, they were going to do something, and then everybody agrees. The Republicans agree, the Democrats agree that this needed to be done, and then they went to vote on some bill where it should have taken care of all of it, and then all of a sudden somebody didn't like it. There was something in there, and again, what it may have addressed was probably addressed the legality of, say, Delta 8 or those isolates, and then all of a sudden somebody's morals said, wait a minute, I hear that kids are, and so all of a sudden this bill that was could have saved the hemp industry in North Carolina, it didn't go through. Now there is another bill that I was kind of confused by the article, actually, because it said it passed in the Senate, but then later it said it still had to pass in the Senate and the House, and so I didn't know what that really meant, but they implied that at first that this has already gone through and approved through the Senate, and maybe it was just approved to be voted on, and they still have to vote on it, but they have 2 days to do it. And I don't know that the politicians understand the importance or the degree of what's going on here, which I just thought, I mean, this entire industry in North Carolina, up until right now, they've really seemed to have supported the hemp industry in North Carolina, but this is not much support. Tragedy. It's going to be a tragedy for North Carolina if it actually happens. Let's see. We were talking about hemp toilet paper earlier. This article, How to Make Yourself Poop, says add some hemp seeds. Now, what I thought was interesting about this is the very first thing they tell you is fiber. Add some fiber to your diet, but they don't mention hemp. Then you get down, and they say hemp oil, and to quote the article, which I thought was interesting, as they say hemp seed has been used to treat constipation in traditional Chinese medicine for thousands of years. Now, I do know that the Chinese have thousands of documented use of cannabis for all kinds of things. There's no doubt about it. And so this was just using the hemp oil, basically, as a diuretic. And so what I think interesting is, that, eat the whole seed, because if you eat the whole seed and the hemp oil is a diuretic inside that seed, the outside of the seed is fiber. So there's 2 out of the 8 things on the list right there that hemp can provide if you are constipated. And then hopefully soon you'll be able to use hemp toilet paper to finish up the job. So, again, another interesting traditional use for hemp seed, hemp oil. That's an everyday issue for a lot of humans on the planet. I think deal with that. Look into your diet first, actually, and then you won't maybe not get as bad. But if you do, try some hemp oil. Try some hemp oil or hemp seed. Get that fiber too. Really get it worked out. And I feel like we talked about the cannabis leaf diet. That may have some fiber in it. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Hemp is the talk of the Future Fabrics Expo in London. This is like the 10th year of the Future Fabrics Expo, which I think is interesting. I suppose. I wonder what they predicted 10 years ago, and if that was actually the future of things now. To add some legitimately, I didn't see that, but of course hemp is the talk, because hemp fiber right now is really being incorporated into all kinds of clothing and toilet paper. It's a whole different reason, but it's the same fiber. It's the same fiber, one way or another. It's how you put it together or whatnot. And so, we are starting to see a lot more gene companies, bigger gene companies and whatnot, getting into the hemp fiber, including Levi, who is coming out with this cottonized hemp, so it's soft and everybody will love it. We'll see. Let's see. I need to pull my glasses down because I have bad eyes. I shouldn't say I have bad eyes. My eyes are pretty good if my glasses are in the right place. Oh, okay. Here's cool. I think I got even a picture of this. This is the brown T-shirt, I believe. Dig says, "Our favorite plant also makes a great T-shirt." So this is Wellen, a company called Wellen, making just a plain tee, a hemp tee in 7 different colors, and then there's also a pocket option. So Wellen is the name of the company, um, and I didn't see a price, so I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to get out of their hemp T-shirt, um, but it just sure looks like any other T-shirt, and I think that's the goal. To convince people that we should be doing it, and then work on, we're going to have to manufacture and get the prices down, one way or another. Um, some sad news in Oregon for D8 lovers. As of Friday, your D8 is, it's not illegal. They're moving it into the guise of the marijuana programs. So now I feel like you can pretty much walk. There's a dispensary just about everywhere in most of the places in Oregon. I think their cannabis laws are pretty open there, if I remember correctly. So it might not be as a big deal, but it sure is silly to make people have to go out of their way, taking it off the over the counter shelf, which shouldn't be done, and then making them, go in basically as an over the counter because you certain age and whatnot. There restrictions to get into, and so um, it's a kind of an interesting twist on what's going on. But I think Colorado was talking about doing this too, which again limits the scope of the availability. It limits the scope of the people that may try it, that may need it. They can find benefits because a lot of our customers are finding a beneficial use to Delta 8. Specifically, I think it works even better for a sleep aid. I mean, it is much. I mean, well, here's the deal. You physically feel the calming. You feel the buzz of calming when it comes to Delta 8, and that's how calming it is. Um, you know, you, one person comes out and says they had a good time using it, and everybody's like, ah, but it's not like that. It's not like that. I think you have a little bit of some, again, it's like if THC Delta 9 is here and it's a 10, Delta 8 is here like a 2, honestly, if you've had it. If you've never had it, then it might a little more, but in comparison to side effects, CBD is a 0. You very rarely feel any true side effects. I like to say, CBD is working when you don't feel anything, because whatever you used it for isn't bothering you anymore, whether it's anxiety, inflammation, causing pain, or anything. That's what our customers find. I'm not saying that medically that's what it is, but that's how I like to describe it. Because people are like, well, will I feel anything? We've seen the studies at 0% effective on your driving ability. And now I'd like to see some, maybe some Delta 8 and maybe just see. And honestly, I'd like to see some legitimate Delta 9, because even the United States government, when they tested Delta 9 on driving, and this was back in the 50s, I think, or I don't know when it was, but found that cannabis alone did not inhibit your ability to drive a motor vehicle safely. Okay. And so, we've seen the studies recently on CBD. I'd like to see some legitimate studies on THC. If they keep telling us, they keep trying to write us tickets or saying that, it's illegal to drive under the influence, but I keep saying, well, prove that it's actually unsafe.
Yeah.
Same for the use of cannabis. Okay, quit telling me it should be illegal. prove to me that it's unsafe. I mean, we proved that tobacco was unsafe, and guess what still's on the shelf of every other gas station in America? Tobacco. They keep telling us that cannabis is unsafe for us to keep it illegal, but they've never once proved that it's actually unsafe. And again, if you're one of those old propaganda people that say, "Oh, they proved it caused brain damage," okay, that was called, I believe it was Scopes trials. I forget what it was called. Go look it up. But what they did to prove cannabis caused brain damage was they gave continuous cannabis smoke with no oxygen to monkeys for 5 to 8 minutes at a time. You cut off oxygen to the brain of any mammal, for more than a minute or two, and you get brain damage. Okay, that's how they proved scientists proved that cannabis was bad for us by giving monkeys 100% pure cannabis smoke with no oxygen for 5 to 8 minutes at a time. So that's all we know of. So far, all the studies that are coming out on it are not saying that it's unsafe, but safe, and people should be using it for certain things. But until it's not illegal in the United States, cannabis, for all purposes, no one will ever believe it, one way or another. The MLB, the Major League Baseball here in America. Of course, NASCAR did this, and so, the MLB is now allowing to sell CBD sponsorships, and so this is big because this is an acceptance of CBD, for one thing, which is great because again, any league that keeps CBD out of the hands of their athletes is not doing their athletes any favor, especially since a lot of the pain experienced by professional athletes is caused by inflammation, stressing certain areas of the body. And once again, our customers are finding it. You go online and find it, and a lot of people are finding that CBD works for that. Okay. And so good for the MLB. I think that, if we can get the NFL on, that would be great. They need to come around with cannabis all over, but of course they can't until it's federally legal, because that wouldn't be fair to the states that didn't have cannabis available to their players. But CBD and all that they have, they need to be accepting that because it's worldwide use of athletes to help with training recovery. A lot of training recovery we see CBD use with. After game, I think would be unbelievable. And so I need to get just one of our Bengals players some happiness cream and have them use it, and they'll be hooked. And again, if you use the cream, they would never have to worry about it anyway because it never makes it to the bloodstream. It never makes it into the bloodstream. So, even if the league had a problem with CBD, it wouldn't matter, from my understanding, one way or another. Felony marijuana possession charges were dropped against a licensed hemp grower in Texas, but it took a year. A year to get it worked out. Which is insane, but thankfully it worked out the way it was supposed to work out. Francis, what's up? But again, this is what we see most of the time. Legitimate hemp farmers being accused of being criminals, and then local governments and whatnot find out that guess what, they were right. They're not criminals. I mean, he's a licensed hemp farmer. And it took a year for him to convince the courts that he was in possession of a legal substance. And that's just ridiculous. That's Texas for you. That's for sure. They They were weird. They tried to ban the old D8, but that didn't happen either. And that might have been, I don't know if this was over something like that. They didn't really say. But they charged him with felony marijuana possession. So he was probably carrying his CBD flower from here to there or whatever. And they got pulled over, and the cops thought they had a big old marijuana bust, and they weren't going to take his word for it, which was fine. But I feel like the first time he shows up in court and is like shows a document to the judge, it should have gotten thrown out. It shouldn't have taken a year to convince a court in Texas that this was legal. Which begs the question: did they test it for THC percentage when they took it from him? Which I'm sure they did when they arrested him on these felony drug charges. We're still there's still a lot of ignorance out there. We're fighting folks when it comes to industrial hemp. There's no doubt about that, including the ignorance I believe in this particular article that I found that says traditional Japanese garments merge with unusual natural materials, and they had like banana peels, and what they had was a kimono. Okay, and they were making these kimonos out of different materials. And then they say hemp. Well, guess what, folks? Once again, the ignorance here is incredible because they didn't do any research on what a kimono was traditionally made out of for decades and not centuries, which was hemp. Which is funny because I didn't mention it last week because I came across this art display of a steel kimono. And in the article about this art display of a steel kimono, they mentioned in there traditionally kimonos are made out of silk, hemp, and flax or something like that, which was very cool. More proof that what I'm saying right now is probably true. So I don't know who wrote this, but hemp was a traditional kimono material to begin with. It's not a new, unusual material. It might be new again, but it has centuries of use already. Taylor Stitch, if you are wondering, I have a picture now. If you have ever wondered what an award-winning hemp T-shirt would look like, there it is. You can barely see it. You can barely see it. But that is Taylor Stitch, and I love their name, Taylor Stitch. I don't know why I love that so much. Maybe because I was part of the Taylor gang for a while. If you don't know, that's a Wiz Khalifa thing. It goes back to Taylor Gang, the Taylor Gang, the actual Taylor Gang coming into Temptations in O'Brienville and spending about $400 on papers, lighters, and whatnot to take back to the Wiz Khalifa show that was happening that I went to out at Riverbend. It was in the pavilion, which I thought was funny because he actually endorsed at the time was endorsing some papers, but he was using another brand of papers when he was smoking on this, like on stage, and when Taylor Gang. And so anyway, we're not talking about that right now, really. We're talking about Taylor Stitch, which has been adding hemp stuff to their inventory. This is apparently an award-winning T-shirt, so we're gonna have to find out what award the Taylor Stitch cotton hemp tea they call it. But they are 30% off right now, so. I don't know if they're on their website or at retailers that officially sell Taylor Stitch clothing, but they are supposed to be 30% off right now. So get yourself an award-winning Taylor Stitch T-shirt on sale. Can't beat that, honestly. I might have to go find one. I feel so weird because I show all this clothing that I really want to buy, and then I don't. And the reason that I don't is because I have so much hemp clothing to begin with. I mean, I don't know, 200 hemp T-shirts. It's like, can I buy another one? Should I buy another one? It seems irresponsible of me, to be honest with you, because I also like to promote the idea of you only go out and buy stuff when you need it. Don't buy it because you want it as much. And I really do want all the things. I mean, if I really could, you know I would have it all, and then I would really feel bad because it's too much already.
Just tell yourself you're buying it for the eventual hemp museum.
I sure hand it down to my kids.
That's right.
Because if it's a really well made hemp shirt, it really should last my lifetime. In all honesty, so that is true. I could. There's 100 ways I could rationalize.
That's right.
You don't have to give me any reason to try to rationalize as to why I want to buy more hemp. And just all you just put hemp on the label. And I find the urge very difficult to resist. For the planet. It's for the planet. Um, here's good news on the opposite. Okay, so July 1st. Um, oh my gosh, I think it was Minnesota. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't put the state in here. I'll have to let you know, but apparently in July 1st, I think it was Minnesota. Honestly, they have decided to go ahead and allow hemp derivatives to be added to food and drinks. So it was illegal to do that before. It will now be legal in that state. I can't believe I didn't put the state down when I typed this in. That's pretty irresponsible of me. It's summertime. I've been showing some hemp bathing suits in the past, so here's another. This is part of the Natasha Tonic hemp bathing suit line. Very simple bikini. I like it. I mean, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. I think the picture of the one I showed a couple weeks ago was like a one piece, actually, hemp bathing suit. And again, hemp retains its strength, becomes stronger when wet. And so, you're actually having a more durable, natural product. You can't compete with durability when it comes to synthetic fibers. They're awful for the planet. They're awful, blah blah blah. But you can't compete with it. I mean, the strength wise, that's why they exist in abundance, is because they have proven strength wise. Synthetic fibers are much stronger than natural fibers, but hemp is the strongest natural fiber. It doesn't require any herbicides or pesticides. It doesn't take a lot of water to process like cotton does into fiber material, or fabric, I should say. And so it's a natural choice for bathing suit because, once again, it's much stronger. It becomes stronger underwater. That's why it was used in all the navies for a couple hundred years at least. Used hemp sails. Actually 1,000, because I'm pretty sure the Vikings, they have found hemp sails used on Viking ships that are thousands of years old, or 1,000 years old. So, Natasha Tonic hemp bathing suits. Muscle Milk. I think if you're a weightlifter or sports, I think everybody knows or familiar with the brand Muscle Milk. Now they're going to make an energy drink called Gym Weed. Now, it's not really weed. It is actually 20 milligrams of hemp extract. Now, still not clear, because there's confusion in labeling over these things, as to whether that hemp extract is actually CBD or that hemp extract is just hemp oil. The seed oil I was talking about. Okay. Now, 20 milligrams of CBD is a decent amount in a drink. 20 milligrams of hemp oil, I don't know beneficially how much that would help you. Now, we do know hemp oil, you add hemp oil to your diet, it is found to be anti-inflammatory. Again, it contains all omega-6, omega-3, all essential fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, magnesium, potassium, all kinds of beneficial things to the human body that would be good for anyone that worked out, including the protein, if it was a lot. The way they've labeled this leads me to believe that it's actually just going to be CBD, which is, like I was talking about earlier, highly beneficial to the athlete, to the person that works out, lifts weights, or anything like that. That's why more athletes are enjoying or getting the therapeutic benefits of CBD. And so I feel like that's what they're doing. I think that not putting anywhere on there that hemp extract is actually CBD makes it so they can sell it on Amazon. They can put it in everywhere and not have to worry about someone having CBD restrictions. And so I'm gonna check into some gym weed. Comes in I think 2 or 3 different flavors. So um, we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of milk, because that's how that started. um, Here are the nutritional values of milk. Okay, I'm going to have to zoom. I didn't make that smaller. I meant to make that a little smaller. But I feel like, of course, I can't hardly read it. 1 cup, so that's 250 grams. 1 cup of hemp milk, 130 calories, 4 grams of protein, 3 grams of fat, 20 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber. Now, the 15 grams of sugar, I believe that's an option because you can make hemp milk without adding. A lot of people use agave to sweeten it, but you can make unsweetened hemp milk, and I don't think there's naturally sugar. I might be wrong, and I need to look, but there may be a little bit of sugar. It wouldn't surprise me. There may be a little bit of sugar in hemp seed, maybe. But it went on down in the article, and I need to look into this too because I don't believe that I've ever seen that it contained calcium, that hemp milk contains calcium as well. I've never seen hemp that the listing of calcium. I don't know. It might actually, because again, it does contain a lot of vitamins and minerals. Calcium may be one of them, but I've never seen it listed as something like there's a lot of it. So I'm going to have to check into the calcium content of hemp because when you make hemp milk, you're really just taking the seeds and water, and that's basically it. And you just put it in a mixer until you've got that consistency, and then a lot of people add a little bit of a sweetener to it because milk is sweetened, which is just hilarious. It's like it's more about how like they convince us to drink milk, but they change the flavor. If it should be able to just go on its nutritional value alone. And again, calcium from hemp or from cow milk is not good for the human body. It's not. It's proven fact. Proven fact. Scientifically proven that calcium from hemp milk or from cow milk is not good for the human body. You really should be getting your calcium from your food product. That's true. Now I'm gonna have to look to see what the calcium content of hemp seed is, because you really should get it from your food, not from cow's milk. So we'll see. We've been talking about this for a while, but it looks like the Hemp Feed Coalition and the National Hemp Association have submitted an application to the FDA to gain approval to be used as hemp seed to be gained approval as commercial feed for laying hens. We've been talking a lot about agricultural use of hemp seed in food. Right now, there is zero. The FDA, the Department of Agriculture, nobody actually approves hemp meal, hemp seed, hemp anything, food to be given to livestock if that livestock is going to be sold. It's commercial. And so now this is apparently based on a 2-year study that they have done on feeding laying hens hemp seed. And so I don't know, if it shows that it's beneficial, I don't know what would hold the FDA up. And to be honest with you, I don't know why they actually aren't petitioning the Department of Agriculture, because to me, it seems like the Department of Agriculture should be the one that approves or disapproves and says yay or nay to anything that has to do with agriculture. I mean, why is the FDA, the A in FDA is not agriculture? That barely means administration, if you ask me. But I'm not here to say. And again, they're not talking about hemp seed. Okay. Now the FDA has already approved hemp for humans. Okay, and all the hemp food that I talk about has been approved. That's why you can have nutritional. There is nutritional value on the labels of hemp foods because it has been approved, or I should say, approved as GRAS, which is generally regarded as safe, so that you can label and put nutritional value on the labels. Something they have not done with CBD or the extracts of industrial hemp, or apparently commercial feed, agricultural feed for livestock. Yeah, it's hard to believe the FDA is holding us up on that too, because that doesn't look good for the chickens. And I know there was supposed to be another study in Colorado on feeding hemp seed grain to cattle, but I haven't seen the results for that other than it made I think it was CBD actually. See, there's so many things going on because they fed the cattle CBD and it did make them calmer or something. But I don't know about it. Again, industrial hemp is the first thing we should start with. We shouldn't even worry about feeding livestock CBD right now if we can't feed them industrial hemp. Because again, everything that makes that seed beneficial to humans would make it beneficial to cattle for sure. I mean, they're always looking to beef them up. Why give them antibiotics and steroids if you can just give them a protein fueled grain? It just seems so silly. All the omegas and all that stuff would make cows healthier and better. And even if it somehow, when it would put that nutritional value into the beef, you want it. There's zero THC in hemp seed. Zero THC. And so, it just seems so silly. We're still being hit up. So hopefully this will get the ball rolling. If we can get the FDA to approve this for chicken hens, hopefully we can get it approved for cattle, for everyone, and livestock will be healthier. And hopefully these big companies will stop, giving their livestock things that aren't natural. It's not natural to give antibiotics to cattle. And it's hard to believe. And again, because these antibiotics are approved for humans, it's hard to believe that they're approved, to give something that we're going to eat. Because, if it makes it into the system and then into the food, then I'm eating it. But I don't necessarily want that in me. I want my natural antibiotics until I need some other antibiotics. That's why there's so many antibiotic resistant viruses. That's why we're going to come up with a whole new class of antibiotics using industrial hemp, whether it's CBD or whatnot. I suppose, kind of going full circle with the nature again, which, most medicines that we have started out as some natural something,
Yeah.
so it just seems so silly. And I get it, sometimes you have to intensify the strength to get it to work. But I think that, the goal should always be to be able to use nature, or nature first, I should say. And we sure shouldn't be told by government that we can't use nature for anything. I just don't, it just seems so baffling that we've allowed that to happen over the years. Something that comes from nature should never be made illegal. Never be made illegal. Just crazy. All right. I told you we had a bunch of good news. That was some pretty good, mostly good news anyway. Cool news. Not too many events going on. We'll get to everybody on their day. This was another one of those ironic events, to be honest with you, because July 1st, you have the chaotic comedy at Blue Ridge Hemp. Okay. We used to have Blue Ridge Hemp Company. It was one of some stuff. Really great products. Um, they're based out of Asheville, North Carolina. So the question is, how chaotic is it going to be? Is it going to be raided because there's CBD products there in North Carolina? Are the cops going to show up?
Mm.
It's possible. If it all goes down the way it's going to go down, it's all very possible. I hate to joke about it because, to be honest with you, it's not really a joking matter for all of these companies, including Blue Ridge Hemp. That was, one of the first in North Carolina to make products from the hemp being grown in North Carolina. That was probably at least 5 years ago, I'm guessing. At least. So anyway, July 1st and 2nd, you have the Happy Hemp Conference and Festival in Richmond, Virginia. End of the month, July 29th, the Pennsylvania Hemp Festival at the Elk County Fairgrounds in Kersey, Pennsylvania. August 18th through the 20th, the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee. August 27th, 28th, the 8th Annual Blessing of the Hemp in Saranac, Michigan. And we'll throw it out now. I probably won't mention it for a little while, but there's going to be another Hemp in the Holler, September 24th, down in Mount Vernon, Kentucky. I'll talk more about that as we get closer. Thanks, everybody, for watching the High Noon Hemp Show, whether it's live or later at the YouTube channel, Jedi Hemp, or on the Facebook Hemptations Beach page. We surely appreciate it. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See y'all next week.